Is there anything you'd like to tell the camera? Do you have anything to say to Nicole's family? Anywhere more?
Were you two friends?
Anything you want to say to your family?
You're trying to say anything.
So this man was arrested for murder of Nicole Perry. He's 31. Her body was found on a road. Worker crews found the body on the side of the road, later identified as Perry, with her hands cut off. Oh my God. This was a gruesome attack. She was killed over a disagreement. Castro wanted to make an example of a young lady. Deputies believe Castro used a hatchet to dismember Perry while she was still alive. Oh my God. Inflicting so much pain as possible, a witness said another suspect asked him to move a large package. The witness said, along with 4 males, placed a square package into the SUV, drove it to the dump. After dumping the body, the witness said they went back to the West Harlem home and was approached with a crock pot, which likely had human hands with painted fingernails. The witness said they soon realized what happened and left. Homeowner said Perry and her fiancé were staying with him as they were homeless at the time of the murder. The owner said he left the room when Perry and his fiancé were arguing, so he left. Came back. She had an axe in her head, and he was standing over her, and he killed her for disrespect. Wow. Castro is a gang member. Did not believe the murder was gang related. Wow. What the hell? Unreal.
Gulf Coast Violent Offenders Task Force, which worked in conjunction with the Violent Crimes, or with the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force to help us out. He was taken into custody without incident in Brownsville, and so we thank, of course, the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force, who helps us out a lot on operations, but of course the Gulf Coast Fugitive Apprehension Task Force was quite instrumental in this as well.
You mentioned that there's a lot of people that could possibly be involved in this. Have you had any cooperation from anybody at this point?
Certainly we have. We've had some cooperation, but we can always use more. And again, we don't believe that her body, we believe that it was several people that were involved in the disposal of the body, probably the disposal of some of the evidence. I'll be quite honest with you, we haven't recovered all body parts involved in this case. It's bizarre to even say that, but it's the case. We haven't yet recovered all body parts in this case, and so we would like as much information from as many people as possible. I think if nothing else, out of a sense of human decency, help us recover the rest of this young lady's body so that we can do the right thing. And so again, people at this point might still have some power to turn themselves into witnesses, put themselves in the witness column as opposed to the co-defendant column at this point.
At the home where you executed the search warrant, I remember you had mentioned that there was a hidden room that was discovered.
Mm-hmm.
How did that come to Did anything come to light out of that?
Well, no, at this point, we don't believe that the murder itself occurred in that hidden room. There were some people found in that room, but we believe that we know the spot where at least part of the violent attack occurred, and it was not in that room. It was in that same structure. It was a back detached garage from the main residence, but we don't believe that the murder itself occurred in that hidden room.
John Brownsville, was he being harbored by anybody, or he was living with somebody? Are they going to be facing any charges?
Well, I think at this point we believe he was living with some family members down there, but at this point it's hard to tell whether they even knew he was a fugitive. You could assume that they did, but it's what you can prove, and so at this point we just don't know.
With the dismembering, do you know if it was out of anger or was it to try to hide the body?
No, I mean I think it was a combination thereof. To hear from what we're gathering. And it's vague information at best. They were hoping this suspect was hoping to make an example of her, to use a direct quote. I don't know what that means, but certainly it's a gruesome attack. I don't even want to imagine what this young lady went through, and the fact that they started dismembering her body before she was even dead. I can't even imagine the depravity that has to take part in somebody's head to even conceive of something like that.
You said direct quote. Was that from him?
Yes.
The suspect?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know what their disagreement was about? Was it over drugs or?
I don't know. All we know is there was some sort of a disagreement, and details are still emerging. But again, I think that at least one of these people that was there, and we believe there was quite a crowd there, probably has the keys that are missing to this. And it may be several different people have several different pieces of information that they could share with us. So again, we'd rather they call us sooner rather than later. 210-335-6070.
Those 9 suspects or people you talked about that being in the house, what do you think their role would be in this case that you know of?
At the very least, I can't help but think that because it's not a huge property. So at the very least, they had to witness something. Somebody saying something, wow, I can't believe that this happened, or somebody washing blood off their hands or disposing of some sort of property. They're gonna have a very hard time convincing any of us that they were there but didn't see anything. So we'll see what happens as the investigation unfolds, but we're hoping that more people will come forward and share information with what we need.
Ahora en español, ¿cómo lo encontraron en Brownsville? ¿Con quién estaba viviendo en Brownsville?
Él estaba con unos familiares en Brownsville, pero hasta ahorita no se sabe si ellos supieron que el sospechoso este era fugitivo. Entonces, por ahorita nosotros simplemente queríamos traer el sospechoso para atrás para San Antonio, y ya si esas personas en Brownsville se enfrentan con otros cargos, eso lo vamos a averiguar en otros momentos, pero ahorita lo que nos interesaba es traerlo a él para atrás para San Antonio. It's hard to say if you would consider it living there. They were just in and out of this house. It seemed to be a house where people gathered to party, to use drugs, to do whatever it is. And, I guess at some point people would crash there for a day or several days or weeks, or they'd come and go within the same night. So it was a very transient type crowd that was in and out of there at all times, with the knowledge of the homeowner. But at this point, we don't know enough to say that the homeowner was complicit or involved in any way. But he did allow a whole lot of people to come in and out of his house.
¿La víctima y el sospechoso se conocían en un momento?
Pues sí se sabe que en esa noche sí se conocían, pero no sé las relaciones entre los dos, si se conocían por meses o simplemente se conocieron ese día.
¿Puede repetirlo de si tienen información, quieren apoyar con
¿De qué?
repetirlo de cooperar con la investigación?
Sí, en estos momentos tenemos varias personas que para mí, pues sabemos que muchas gentes estaban ahí en el momento del homicidio, y pues para nosotros que esas personas tienen que tener alguna información. Aunque será posible que no fueron testigos al homicidio, será posible que ellos escucharon algo antes del homicidio o después del homicidio, o vieron a alguien deshaciéndose de evidencia. Y pues quisiéramos que esas personas nos hablen a cualquier momento al 335-6070.
What are the charges he's facing?
Right now he's facing a murder charge, but again, as we're saying, we're not yet ruling out additional charges. It remains to be seen if there are other arrests, will they be charged with murder as well, or will they be charged with some other unrelated offense, such as helping to dispose of the body or whatever it may be.
You said he didn't resist, right? Arrest.
No,
He started limping, so I don't know.
no, I think that that's unrelated. Él fue arrestado sin incidente en Brownsville.
Do you know the timeline from, was she kind of killed and then disposed of the next day, or?
Well, we believe it was within a few hours she was disposed of, in the early morning hours, and then of course we found her, that probably that same day. I don't think she had been dumped out there more than a couple of hours, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, thank y'all so much.
Mike's on, but can I kind of get a brief recap of what happened?
Absolutely. So the suspect that we just arrested is Rafael Castillo, Rafael, 26 years of age. He is a suspect in the murder of Nicole Perry, 31 years of age. So Nicole Perry was found on November 19th on South W.W. White Road. To give you a recap of what happened, a county work crew was out picking up trash in an area known for dumping. They happened upon a tarp that was wrapped up, and there was clearly something inside. When the work crew began opening the tarp, they saw that it was human remains inside, so they backed off and called for us. We were able to recover the remains of Miss Perry with the assistance of the medical examiner's office. Very soon thereafter, she was identified, and on the 21st of November, we ran a warrant at 338 West Harlan. There, we took into custody several folks that we determined to be possible witnesses to the homicide of Miss Perry. We were able to determine that the suspect here, Castillo, actually murdered Miss Perry using either an axe or a hatchet. And the details of the case are disturbing, quite disturbing. It appears that he actually partially dismembered her while she was still alive. It appears that her hands were cut off while she was still alive, and then she was killed with the hatchet. Now, gruesome details. It bothers you to even say it out loud because you can't even conceive of the depravity that has to take place in a suspect's mind. But nonetheless, we're happy to get this suspect into custody with the assistance of the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force, the Gulf Coast Fugitive Apprehension Task Force. They helped us out in tracking this suspect down and bringing him back to San Antonio.
Do you have an idea what the circumstances were around? Like, did they know each other? Was there a motive?
It was some sort of a disagreement that happened, and as we understand it, this suspect was looking to make an example of this young lady. Whatever that may mean. I mean, in a criminal mind, that may mean anything. So quite frankly, we believe we know what he meant. He was looking to kill her and inflict as much pain as possible, and we're pretty certain that he did that. I can't even imagine the level of terror that this young lady must have gone through, the amount of pain that she must have gone through, and so of course that's why we, while you try not to take it personally, it does give you a personal sense of satisfaction to bring somebody like that to justice.
At this time, do you believe it was just him acting alone like the other people, or do you think they're just witnesses?
No, we think there were other people involved, at least to some extent. Packaging her body in the way that it was, disposing of certain body parts that we haven't yet been able to locate, taking her body to where it needed to be, transporting, moving it to the side of the road where it was found. That could not have been a one-person operation. We believe there were other people involved. We have not ruled out that we're going to make other arrests. But what we can tell people is that if you happen to be one of those folks that may have been involved or may have seen something or witnessed something, we'd rather you come in and let's see if we can't at least see if you're a witness instead of a co-defendant in this case. We're not gonna stop until we have all the answers. So if people have information, they need to give us a call at 210-335-6070.
Gotcha. And final question, do you know that, the way you're describing it, was this a part of something larger? Was this a criminal organization, a gang?
I don't. We believe that he is a documented gang member. We typically don't name the gang, but he is a documented gang member. What we don't believe it was gang related. This homicide. Now, the house where the homicide occurred on West Harlan was a house that was very transient in nature. There were people in and out of there all the time, partying, using drugs. Doing any number of things, but on this night in particular, we believe there was a large number of people there, in and out of the main house and the detached garage in the back. And at some point, there was a disagreement between these two that escalated to the point where this person thought it would be the best course of action would be to take Miss Perry's life and inflict a whole bunch of pain on her in the process.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Drop it.